Welcome back and thanks for tuning in to another Blacklink video. Today we're bringing you a new series called Off the Dome. We're going to be with John, Jordan, myself today, and also Devon.
Off the Dome is the new series that we're doing where we're going to be talking about various topics surrounding the anime community. I'm spearheading this episode, so they don't know what specific topic we're talking about, but we are talking about My Hero. So for today's topic, My Hero Academia, earlier this year just finished its 6th season. Ever since maybe the end of the 4th season, maybe like the second half of it, My Hero has been getting like the stigma of it being overrated or just flat out just not being good. And I just wanted to go through every season and just let me know what y'all think. Or do we come to the conclusion that it is overrated? Is it not?
Okay, bet.
So we'll start with season 1. Season 1 is obviously the introduction of the show, but season 1, this is the attack on USJ. So this introduces Class 1A. This is when Shigaraki and Kurogiri, and I guess the League of Villains of what it was at the time, they attacked the school pretty much.
Yeah.
From what you remember, what do you think?
I don't remember too much. You said they got attacked by the League of Villains.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it really wasn't what the League of Villains is now. It wasn't what it was in season 1.
But I feel like, at least when I recall season 1, that's not necessarily the first thing I remember. I remember Bakugo getting trapped by that like oil slime monster.
Okay, that's fair. My fault.
I remember like that part. I don't really. Did the games and stuff happen that season as well?
That was season 2.
Season 2.
So this was when
All Might fought that Nomu, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, remember when
That's
that
season
big
2?
fight?
That's season 1.
when he fought the Nomu?
That was the end of the
Yes.
season.
That was when Shigaraki
That,
came.
nah,
and sent the Nomu.
that's not true.
promise.
That is season 1.
So you're telling me he got one for all. He cleaned the beach. He punched the robot.
Yes.
Yes, that's
all
what
in
that-
season
That was
1.
all season 1.
Season 1.
Season 1 was like 12 episodes too.
Yeah.
So
That's crazy.
yeah. So that was all season 1.
So they went to the museum and dude was.
Yeah.
That was all
Shigaraki got
season
shot
1.
and then that's season 1. Yes, that's
yeah.
season 1.
And
That's season 1.
that was literally right before I think that Nomu came and fought for All Might. I'm pretty sure, I can't remember.
That was after. So that's after
after?
All Might beat the Nomu, and I forgot like what happened, but I think Snipe is his name. He shot Shigaraki in the kneecaps.
I don't see how, at least personally, especially after laying all of that out, I don't see how you could like call it underrated or even come at it with that like stance with a pure heart and be like, oh, the show's underrated when they're like literally fitting so many small.
I'm saying overrated. I'm saying the stigma is that
Well,
My Hero is overrated. But
I
want
feel
you
like
to
I'm saying the same thing. I'm just
Okay.
using the wrong word.
Okay.
But I feel like it's not. To put it simply, I feel like because of everything that's in just season 1, everything that's like they show you, everything they kind of set on the start line. That's a lot of stuff. I didn't know that all of that occurred.
Yeah, all in season 1, man.
Yeah, I definitely don't think season 1 was definitely overrated. I thought it was solid, especially Zeku was just learning to get his powers. Yeah, I disagree.
That was such a short amount of time too, because like he went from blowing his back out damn near.
Put a big pause on that
I'm
one.
saying
that's a hard part,
to
Respect, you understand?
like almost like
I'm good, bro. Keep talking.
I don't know if he hit he was gonna hit Shigaraki and then Nomu blocked it, but he didn't blow his he didn't blow his arm out doing so, you know?
Right.
And so I feel like that's a lot of progression for just 12 episodes.
So he cleaned the beach.
Yeah.
All Might gave him. This is right. Actually, no. This is right before the
entrance exam.
Yeah, right before the entrance exam. That's when it happened. Because I remember he was like he didn't even feel like anything changed.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was like right before the entrance exam started, but after, when he punched the robot, and like that's when.
Yeah, that was the first time he used his abilities.
Yeah.
I remember he was freaking out that like everyone's doing these amazing things, so like he didn't have any practice up until that point.
Yeah.
He was trying to All Might, which I mean the power is broken, so I don't know how much he would have, but he was trying to get his body prepared to handle that power instead of like getting it then. And I believe that's what it was.
I don't think it was overrated. I think for the first season, I do think it was a little just a little overhyped in my opinion. But in terms of like being overrated. I think it was, first of all, the first season, in my opinion, was like really well paced, even though they had like a crap ton of stuff happen in it, and it didn't feel boring. Like there was no like episode where I was like, bro, this drink is like dragging. You know what I mean? Like the only thing that I don't necessarily like about like shonens too much with like their MCs, they're always like some kind of big crybaby at the beginning of everything, and then later on become this like crazy character that's like their whole personality changes, and they like it's just weird to me. So like that's the only issue I have, but I don't think it's like overrated or anything. I think it was pretty good.
You guys, and I feel like I know the answer to this, but were you guys annoyed of like
Yes.
Deku's like constant crying?
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Is the one thing that I hated the show for. I was sick of it.
I was not.
I agree.
I think, like, I want to compare it to, I don't even know what I would compare it to. I just felt like all the times he cried were times where he was like emotionally distraught. He's not even in like middle school yet. He's crying because like he's quirkless, growing in a world where like everybody has quirks,
It, like, has
and
to
then
be, like,
his
quirks.
idol is like the #1 hero. Like I feel like there are a lot of times where he like deserved to let like those emotions out.
Season 2. Season 2's first half is the sports festival, and the second half, or it's 3 parts if I remember correctly. First part is sports festival. Second part is the Stain, the Stain arc, and then the third part is the final exams,
With the other
where
class.
they fought the teachers.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And they have the
Gotcha.
weights on.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
We can start with the sports festival. I feel like that's fair. We can start there.
I thought that joke was cool. I'm not gonna lie. I like when the side characters, when all the characters in like the MC space get like a highlight of their own. So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that.
Okay.
When they dive deeper into like
yeah,
the
like
okay.
the abilities of all the other characters, like the relationships between them, like all that stuff is kind of cool to me.
Yeah.
I like that part.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool to get introduced like to all of the quirks. Definitely Todoroki, like his backstory stood out to me, like with Endeavor.
Yeah.
That was pretty interesting. But,
Right.
Yeah, no, it was solid for the sports festival for sure.
I agree with both of you. I think when an anime takes time to dive into the side characters, it like builds the world, and it's like, okay, so it's bigger than just like this singular dot that we've been following.
Yeah, like this stuff has been happening like before you got here.
Right,
Yeah,
and so,
I get you.
You kind of get pulled into the world, and you're like, okay, like literally everyone has quirks. Everyone's quirks aren't the greatest, but they're still making do. They're still like doing the thing.
To piggyback off what you were saying, one fact that I did like, there's a sense of realism to it, in the sense of, so when Todoroki, he brought out his firepower against Deku, and he won. When he fought Bakugo at the end, he basically like, he was about to do it but stopped, because I mean, you don't get over that trauma, like, you know, in one day.
I was gonna
So,
say, too.
okay, so next part is the Stain arc. So right before this arc started, Ingenium, or Ida's brother before he took over the name, got pieced up, got pieced up by Stain in the alleyway,
That's my dog. That's my dog.
and Ida's out for revenge. So that's kind of like the driving point. Deku meets Gran Torino, and he learns full cow.
Yeah. Oh, this is when they're all like studying underneath the
Oh, underneath, yeah. Okay,
so
now,
he learns full cow.
Bakugo. That's genius. Had that stupid hairstyle, remember?
Yeah.
That joke was crazy.
So yeah, he learns full cow. So him, Todoroki, and Ida fight Stain in the alleyway pretty much. So that's pretty much the gist of it.
I think Ito was being really annoying, and I understand that your brother got clapped up, but I just felt like he was doing a whole lot of crying, and when he got about it, he was on the floor for half the fight.
Well, nah, Stain just, I mean, it wasn't even, I don't even think it was really nothing about what Ida did specifically. Stain just,
I feel like any other side character I could think, well, maybe it's that anime. It's that anime specifically, because I feel like any other side character and any other anime would have got some like crazy like hack, some crazy, I was gonna say jutsu, but They would have done something crazy off the wall to try to like overpower that enemy, but Ida just showed up as he was.
But I feel like that also proves like Stain's point of like his philosophy or whatever, because in that moment, regardless of what happened, he wasn't acting like a real hero or like what Stain perceives to be a real hero. He went in blind. He went in just with revenge on his mind, and because of that, he ain't had no plan. He just got cooked. So, nah, for real. But
Bro was on the floor crying in the middle of a dark alley.
Yeah.
but like,
Bleeding
yeah,
out.
I mean, yeah, a power to lick somebody's blood, bruh, and just paralyze, that's kind of insane, I ain't gonna lie. But at that point, you just feel powerless. So I do agree. Like, I feel like it's like, all right, bruh, like, get over it. But
It wasn't even get over it, but it was like get your leg back. Like
he did, though.
he didn't. He got saved.
But he still got his lick back, though.
This is like
I see what you're saying. Like in other animes, a side character that has like an enemy will somehow overpower that character with something new. Like they do it themselves. You know what I mean? Whereas in My Hero, Lita kind of got help to do that, even though he was the one that was big and brawny, saying like I'm gonna get my revenge, and didn't do that himself. You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
That's where it can kind of get like.
And I know his quirk is like really interesting because I know after a while you have to like remove like the engines out of his like calf muscles to get like stronger engines and stuff like that. So there wasn't really like too much he could do to like really level up, but I felt like he could have brought a gun or something. He's like, I know his MO, he used swords, don't get close, play range, you fast, just spin the block, literally.
Spin the block with that wood.
I feel like, again, I mean, he just went in, just in that situation, just woefully unprepared.
Yeah.
Because that's not who Ida is. If in a calm, level-headed situation, he would have, I don't know if the situation would have been all too different per se. I mean, they only been in the school for dang near a month, I think, at this point. But I think if he was a lot more clear-headed, I think he would have been able to do something.
One thing I did like though was Stain. All right, easily one of my favorite characters, bro. I'm sorry, that dude was too cold because he was about it. You know what I mean? Like he found his motive, acted on it, and succeeded almost every single time, right? Whereas like, and this is kind of like into like the latest season, because I think it was from that latest season where I was like, yo, this dude is cold. He's like a real dude, you know what I mean? Like he, the fact that he was like so, I feel like his purpose was like real, right? Like he adopted it, and the fact that he's like able to like carry that junk out pretty much successfully, like every single time, even though he really is killing heroes, it's like, I feel like that's just like, that's what a good character is, you know what I mean, to me. Like someone that has what's it called, like character, right? Like he's not just a killer, right? He has a reason for everything that
clear
he's doing.
vision.
He has an understood vision, and he acts on it because it makes sense to him. You know what I mean? So
What he did was absolutely, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Again, like you said, he just went about it the wrong way.
Right.
I think his fault.
You think so?
I mean, killing people because
he could have.
I don't know. Like I think his philosophy is correct. Yes, like heroes should be, the standard is All Might. So I feel like that's what everyone should, strive to be. But I don't think you just kill somebody for, doing it wrong. Some people may not just know that they're doing something wrong, or they're doing it for the wrong reason. Like
I don't think the way he went about it was the right way, but I feel like the right way wouldn't get it done. You see what I'm saying? I feel like he kind of had to do it that way.
I know I'm jumping, but I was gonna bring up Nagant.
Oh,
we'll get there, bro. Cause
I'm not gonna jump, but I'm saying like thinking about like everything that we know now, like I felt like that was really the only option for him. Cause looking at Stain and that, I won't jump too far, but looking at Stain in that season, it's like completely different.
Okay.
Completely different, like.
For now,
That's what I was talking about.
okay, but for now,
Stain did nothing wrong.
the next part, move on. This is the final exam, and
We didn't get to them fighting the teacher.
this is what it is. This is what it is.
Oh, okay, respect.
Yeah.
respect.
I mean, we ain't gonna go through all the fights, but I guess really the biggest ones, and I guess I kind of glossed over this in the sports festival, but this was Todoroki and Yairozu, I think, versus Aizawa. Ida and what's the other guy's name?
I know.
Ojiro.
Yeah, I know.
That's his
I
name.
remember.
Versus what's freaking construction guy, power loader, something like that. And then obviously Deku and Bakugo versus All Might. But just kind of jog your memory. Like, what do you?
I'm gonna be real. This is probably like the least I remember about My Hero, because I can think of everything else after that and kind of at least pull parts from it. But what I do remember is that when I watched it, I felt like, well, not really just with that, the final part. It was more like the whole thing, the whole season, the season 2 kind of felt like a training arc for all of them, which felt good. Like they all kind of like learned how to do like more things in order to help them with like fights, blah blah blah, in certain scenarios, and I think it was well packed with that kind of stuff. So that's my opinion. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, with this season, I barely remember. I just remember like Deku, I think, fighting All Might. But did All Might like let Deku and them and Bakugo win? I don't remember.
No.
Like at the end.
No, I mean they were. Malik stated this earlier, but they were restricted by the weights as well.
Oh, okay.
But
Are they?
All Might's on because of the incident or whatever. He's on a timer, and
yeah,
so like
also
that.
yeah, that's true.
Like he could have pushed himself to like really like be
Yeah.
that teacher.
Or what I saw
in
with
that fight.
Todoroki, obviously she was feeling like not confident in herself because in the sports festival, who did she? Tokoyami. The fight was like 3 seconds, and it's not like he like
Didn't he do?
yeah, it's not like he did anything. He just knocked her out of bounds. So she
Yeah.
was overthinking, and while she was thinking, the match started, and she tried to block.
got clapped.
So that kind of started the whole thing with that, and
And I
then
was happy when she lost because I was like, I'm sick of this.
dang, bro.
I mean, some people do need to be humbled, and I think
like
I don't think she thought of herself super high, but I'm pretty sure those test scores was really.
I
inflating
will
her
say
ego.
in season 1, I would understand people thought that because the way she was talking,
yeah, it made it. Yeah.
I will understand that. But I didn't really get that there. It was cool because I think when they were voting for class rep, Todoroki was, I think him. I forgot who else voted for her, but
Yeah.
one of the votes was, I think everybody else dang near voted for themselves.
Right.
But I feel like it was a good callback that I think she was vice president because Midoriya got voted for president and he gave it to Ida. But Todoroki was the one who voted for her because he believed in her and whatnot. But again, they didn't stay on it for that long. Like, it made sense, it was realistic, it got to the point, like, problem resolved. Now, to conclude season 2 in general, overrated, underrated, or perfectly rated?
Probably perfectly rated. I don't think it was overrated at all.
Definitely a lot of action, and then they found their moments to weave in like character development. So I would say it's good.
Yeah. Season 2, solid.
Okay. All right. So season 3. This is the first part of season 3 was the camp. So it was Class A and Class B. They were at camp, and that's when the League of Villains attacked. Bakugo gets kidnapped.
Oh yeah.
Whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Gotcha.
that's the first part of it. So the major parts of that arc specifically, we meet Koda, I believe that's his name, the kid who punched Deku in the nuts.
Yep.
The red hat,
Yeah. Okay.
The red boots. He got red bottoms.
Yeah.
What is that? Muscle Build?
So we meet him.
Well, I don't think he got, and I don't mean to
no,
interrupt
no,
you.
you're right. I know what you're about to say.
Okay,
You're right. Yeah, he got it in this latest season, but he didn't have it then because his opinion on heroes was kind of iffy because the muscular, the guy Deku fought, killed his parents.
Yeah.
And he was upset that they were so busy doing that stuff that they kind of just forgot about him, which from a kid's perspective, I understand. Muscular just showed up. Deku goes and saves him pretty much and basically changes his mind, like, on Heroes pretty much. Like, that whole fight actually was insane in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't realize that it was I didn't realize the episode itself was as loved as it is, like by I guess more so the My Hero like community, but I didn't realize it was as loved as it was, but I kind of understand why now, and I think at that point, I mean, I always liked Deku. I've never been like I never felt no type of way about anything despite, you know, the crying and whatnot, but I think that kind of pushed me more to appreciate him as a character. But that arc ends when Bakugo gets kidnapped, so basically, they were actually originally, I mean, they were trying to get Bakugo, but they were also trying to get Tokiyami as well, because I think they watched the sports festival who kind of showed I don't know what's the correct term.
They were trying to see who they could like essentially turn.
Yeah.
And so when they watched the sports fest, they saw like these people were like the two like.
Right, darkest.
Yeah. So they had both of them, but Aoyama, freaking belly button, he came in clutch to save Tokiyami, but Bakugo, yeah, that boy got snatched up. And All for One has been introduced, but this is when he actually gets up, like, and basically is out doing stuff pretty much, so to speak. Because, I mean, before he was just kind of like working stuff from, you know, behind the scenes and stuff, but this is when him and All Might fights. All Might goes into retirement after this.
This is when they fought All for One? One for All?
Yeah. All Might fought.
All Might fought All for One. The third arc is the provisional license. So this is where Todoroki and Bakugo fails.
Is that when they go against the other schools?
Yeah.
Okay.
Them two.
But then at the end, this is when Deku and Bakugo fight. So this is the fight that you were talking about. So this is the fight. And then at the very end of the season, that's where Mirio gets introduced. So.
When Bakugo got kidnapped and was taken in by League of Villains, is y'all think that he would turn?
I think it was kind of, I didn't think he was gonna turn. I think the villains, like, their reasoning for kidnapping him is valid. But I didn't think he was gonna turn. That sounded awful. But that sounded so bad. I don't condone kidnapping.
Kidnap them kids, bro.
Killing heroes that aren't heroes?
Crazy.
Kidnapping kids? Like, no, bro.
That's right too, bro.
It's kind of clean, you know?
But no. But I think their reasoning, like, for thinking that he would turn is correct. But I think if he would have essentially pulled a Sasuke, I don't think I would have rocked with that. Because it's been very clear that his intentions was to be a hero, to be like All Might. So for him to do that, like to turn against all that completely, that would have been foul.
Nah, I wouldn't have expected him to do that either. I knew it was gonna be some kind of him denying the fact, or like maybe using what they see as like fuel to do what he wants to do. He's not like, his personality type isn't that of a villain. So
yeah.
I was thinking about Naruto a lot, and I was like, I don't think it's gonna be a situation where he's like, oh, I promise you power, you beat Deku's ass. You're like I don't think it was anything. I don't even think he really acknowledged that he wanted to be better than Deku or even beat Deku. At least not at that point.
Yeah.
I think that was like a subliminal thing.
Or you said he never said that he wanted to be better than Deku?
Yeah, because that means he would have to acknowledge that Deku
Oh,
is.
got you.
Know what I'm saying?
Okay,
So
I
that
get
wasn't
you.
something that he was consciously thinking
Yeah,
of.
I mean, at this point, he always thought that he was better. I got you. Okay.
Unlike Sasuke, who was like,
Yeah.
I want to kill a certain
Human and
someone. Like, all right, bro.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You're on
Okay,
demon time.
I
You
get
need
you.
to chill out.
Yeah. I think if they would have did that, I probably wouldn't have rocked with that, because that would have just went against everything his character pretty much stood for up until that point. But yeah, we're fast forward to provisional licenses. And like I said, Todoroki and Bakugo failed because I forget the guy's name from Shiketsu, but Todoroki and him were clashing. I'm sorry, bro. Again, I don't know his name, but he was bugging.
What's his power? What do you do?
The wind.
The wind.
Oh, the tornado?
Yeah, he was bugging, bro. I think what happened between them was a good thing for Todoroki and his development, but Homeboy's reasoning, and because he didn't like the way he looked at him or whatnot, I'm not. I understand, like, okay, I'm not gonna talk to him no more, whatever, cool. But he went up to him like, oh, I hate you, like, I can't stand you, and basically gave him a vendetta against some, like, I understand, and obviously it goes to a little deeper with that because the same thing happened with Endeavor, so maybe. But you're bugging, bro. I don't get that. But I see it as a point to drive Todoroki's development. So that part I do get. But
you ain't never hate nobody before?
Huh?
So you ain't never hate nobody before?
I've strongly disliked people before, yeah. But
for no reason.
I don't. But the reasoning behind that.
So there was always a reason. It was never just somebody who just like
irked your spirit.
There's people that get on my nerve, but I don't hate them for no reason.
I mean, they in high school.
You gotta have some. You gotta have some emotional maturity, bro.
I was literally gonna say that earlier. I was like, bro, these are kids, and he probably just got like a grudge because Buddy looked at him weird. But like in my head, I'm like, they're trying to curate heroes. Like
there's gotta be some emotional maturity.
Those people who are like in ROTC, who
act like
those see like the face you make. Like.
We can agree to disagree, bro.
Thank you for your service.
But nah,
I'm not saying he wasn't tripping. I'm just saying like, I feel like there are people out there like that.
Okay,
sure.
Okay, no, for sure. I can get behind that.
Fact.
Okay, that
They
makes
got
sense.
issues.
That
They
makes
need to fix
sense.
They need therapy.
That makes sense. But
Counseling, not therapy.
But then Bakugo, I mean, I don't even know what was up with him. I think he they kind of explain it, but it wasn't shown during that. But he went into the exam thinking that he was the reason for All Might's retirement. But again, that's not stated until they fight. Deku and Bakugo fights. But I mean, he was bugging too. He wasn't. Obviously, he just wanted us to fight. His belief at this point is a hero should be somebody who always wins, because All Might always wins. But he was not doing the other side of trying to save people. I think at one point he told somebody to save themselves, pretty much, which is crazy. But yeah, he was on one for that. So that I understand. Also, what comes later is of him thinking that he was the reason for All Might's retirement. It makes a little bit more sense. I still think that fight between them two is probably maybe top 2 favorite fight in the series. Maybe top 3.
Was it who?
Deku and Bakugo.
Oh yeah, that was a good fight. I think that was one of the one of the more enjoyable ones.
Yeah, especially like
all the way
early
up
on.
until
But
season 6 too.
what do you say? Underrated, overrated, perfectly rated.
At this point, what was season 4 again? Was this Overhaul?
Mm-hmm.
That was it. Yeah, that's what we get to next.
And then also, I mean, at the end of season 3, Muriel gets introduced and wops pretty much all of Class 1A. Forgot to mention that.
I think this season
Perfect.
is where. Ooh, this is review. I think at this point, is where it kind of started to fall off for me. I don't know about overrated or underrated. I don't know if it was like in between. For me specifically, I just wasn't the biggest fan at this point, but I don't think it was overrated, if that makes sense.
What did you think, Jordan?
I wouldn't say it was like perfect either. Probably.
Y'all some haters, bro.
No, I mean I can see what you mean. Like it went like a little downhill a little bit, but like came back up to the end of the season.
Oh my bad, go my bad.
Started to get lame.
The only like I can see where you're coming from in the sense of I feel like the provisional license exam was a little boring in my opinion. So that I agree with.
Yeah.
I think season 3 at this point was the best season. I think everything that they hit on was like, I wouldn't say perfect, but I would give it like a 9. Yeah. I give it like a 9, 8.5, bro. I think season 3 was really good, bro.
You know, I'll recant and I'll say excellent since whatever. Because I also thought there was like that slow part. I've seen the full anime twice. And so that part was not it. Like the part where they're like fighting the other schools, it was cool. It just wasn't as, I don't know, it just wasn't what it needed to be for me to like really remember.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
That's understandable. But, go ahead.
There was one thing I did want to say. And I was like, oh, because you were mentioning the tornado dude, and I was like, oh, you know, it'd be cool if he like had like some weird like villain backstory at first, and then he became a hero, and then he became like some sort of like rogue in between. And I was like, oh well, technically like they did have like heroes who were like not a part of the hero society. And I was like, oh, what happened to them? And then it all like
Connect.
came together.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It was getting
But
popped up.
again, end of the season, I think it really puts Bakugo's character in perspective again, of how, I mean, just who he is pretty much. I don't think we knew at that point he went into the license exam that he was upset about. I mean, he was upset about All Might's retirement, but we didn't think that he thought that he was the reason for it. It is gives him more depth. That's what I wanted to say. He's just not no one note jerk, pretty much.
Yeah.
So.
Season
What? Okay.
Oh, wait, I don't know.
Excellent, because the entire pacing between those, like, if you were to look at it backwards, you could see like this season is pretty much about Bakugo. But looking at it, they decided to tell it like essentially backwards, giving you like it from the end to the beginning, and then you see at the very end where where Bakugo is fighting Deku and all these emotions are coming out. You're like, oh, like, you know, he feels this way, and he's not, like you said, just this like bully character. He has like depth, and he has like things that he needs to work through, and that's why I think it's